Hello there. I'm so excited to be talking to you today, and welcome to the very first and official Real Men's Conference of the year 2022. Now, I know that the Real Men's Conference has been a social media frenzy and trend for almost a couple of years, and we'd like to say thank you to the organizers and conveners of this particular one this year at the Mulungushini International Conference Center for making it possible for young men, old men, and men alike, even women, who are there in the audience to come through to a point where we can share ideas, share experiences, share pain, but indeed lift each other up in learning from one another and making us better people. And indeed, Zambia and the world needs better men. My name is Costa Mwansa. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Diamond TV, a TV station operating in Zambia with an ambition to be a Pan-African brand. And obviously most of you either have watched Diamond TV or have come across our pages. If you haven't, log on to our pages. Remember, it is Diamond TV Zambia and all social handles, that is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, as well as TikTok and Instagram. Now, I've been given 30 minutes in which to talk to you about entrepreneurship as well as leadership. Not very easy subjects, quite complicated in their nature, but we'll try in these few minutes to load as much as possible a few nuggets of things that make successful people tick in terms of leadership as well as entrepreneurship. Obviously, because I'm addressing you remotely, it will be difficult for me to answer questions, but I hope that you will enjoy my presentation and what I'd prepared for you. So welcome to it, and let's get straight into the nitty-gritties of it at the Real Men's Conference of 2022. Let's start with entrepreneurship. The first thing I want to talk about is that, first of all, entrepreneurship is a huge and fast-growing phenomenon in Zambia and across Africa, where everybody wants to work for themselves. There's startup business people, SMEs, medium, small-scale SMEs, as well as blue chip and big companies that have come from really startups into being multinationals and conglomerates. The question is, you should ask yourself rather, is entrepreneurship really built for everybody? Is everybody poised, or can anybody venture into business or entrepreneurship? The sad answer is no. Not everybody is cut out for entrepreneurship, and I'm sorry for that. If you're coming to this conference, you need to learn that there's certain people in life that are just born to be led and to work for other people, because entrepreneurship and leadership has got specific attributes that I'm sure at the end of my presentation we'll be able to analyze as I delve into them. So that's the first that's the first thing and the starting point that we need to delve into. We need to establish whether I am meant for business and entrepreneurship or not. And that talks about personal discovery and personal identification, because entrepreneurship is not meant for everybody. So how do I know that entrepreneurship is made for me? Now, entrepreneurs are usually very innovative and creative people who see business opportunities in things that an ordinary person would not see. So it's about having an eye to see, having a tongue to taste where the opportunities to add value, to creatively utilize ideas and transform them into this value that is called money. If you fail and you don't have the ability to do that, just know that entrepreneurship then is not meant for you. So most of the times, entrepreneurs are defined or described as people who are able to transform an ordinary opportunity or idea into something tangible and valuable by making it go through a process of value addition, process of product development and so on, and ultimately at the end of the day making money and profits out of it. If you fail to do that, just know then that entrepreneurship is not cut out for you. I know that the fundamental question is, all of us want to live a good life, all of us want to work for ourselves, all of us now want to talk about the common phrase, a side hustle. You work a full 8 to 5 job, but you have a small cantemba there, or you are doing farming, or whatever it is that you're selling on the part-time, you call a side hustle. But I want to say that business, if you're really a serious business person and entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur must never be a side hustle. Business is a real thing, it is a serious thing, and it calls for your full attention on a whole 360. The other question that arises, many of you always have an issue of understanding or pushing yourselves towards venturing into entrepreneurship, because many believe one cannot start a business or venture into an entrepreneurship journey without having startup capital. The big question is obviously the banks, the micro lenders, or nobody will invest in you if you don't have collateral. And that is why many people who are watching me today will ask themselves, how did you start your business really? How much capital did you have? I don't have a house, I don't have a car, I don't have a piece of land, so how do I go to the bank? And this raises the question, what comes, or what does one need to possess? Is it a question of an idea first or the money? I have been mentored by certain people who are of the belief that it's not about the financial muscle, but it's always about the brain muscle. It's like that egg or chicken kind of concept where we say which one comes first, egg or chicken. It's always the same debate in the business circles when one wants to start a business. Do you first of all raise capital for you to inject your ideas to form up a business, or do you inject your ideas and then the financial capital comes afterward? Which one is which? Here's my take. Most of the successful entrepreneurs, or all the businesses that I've come across, be it books that I've read, by profiles, it's always about an idea, because your idea essentially is what develops into a product that consumers or customers will buy. So it's never about the money. The first thing we need to the idea, and that idea needs to be unique, the idea needs to be sellable, the idea attractive to create customers. If you had money can be used and pumped into an idea that will not work. So here's why I argue that the most important thing in starting up a business or being an entrepreneur is to have sellable and innovative ideas, because if your idea is not sellable and it's not innovative, then ultimately you will invest money, and that is why people end up making losses. At the end of the day, financial capital could be there, but it's a risk aspect venturing financial investment into an idea that is not sellable. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes businesses start solely 100% with zero money. I remember in my secondary school days, and I've told this story to so many young people, I ventured into some trading without money. I started selling within the school, and one of the things I was doing is I was at a secondary school somewhere at Mukuba in Kitwe, and I would order shirts from Comesa market in Lusaka. One of the things I would encourage my customers to do is pay me a down payment of 50% for the cost of each shirt, and with the price calculation I would use the 50% which I would have already collected from maybe say 10 customers and buy the shirts at a cheaper amount. By the time I was getting the last 50% installment, I would have already delivered the goods or the merchandise, but make a profit and cater transportation and everything there. So when you ask me with that, yes, I needed money to buy the shirts, but it was not capital that I was investing from my own pocket. So it's also how you structure your business in terms of how you can even pay for the goods first using the customer if the product offer is interesting enough. So capital is not always the stumbling block. Capital should not be the first thing that you look at. Do not stifle your entrepreneurship journey by saying, I do not have capital, I do not have collateral. The idea is bigger than the capital. So now we have spoken about the fact that the idea is the biggest thing, and obviously capital is an important aspect, but really the idea must be the driving force. The financial investment will be attracted by a good idea. Trust me, every good bank, every good investor will look at a good idea and see the opportunity of investing. Get those ideas flowing and the money will follow you after. Remember that once you get into that entrepreneurship journey, challenges will always be there. And this is always the key issue that draws most of us back. Capital and the challenges. The issue of a negative society living, around us. So most of us have been faced with this PhD syndrome, or we know it, the pull him down or the pull her down syndrome. And this is usually what, makes us not to step out of our comfort zones, to believe in ourselves that we can do this. Society in many of our setups, especially in Africa and in Zambia, our friends, our colleagues, our families do not believe in our ideas and just do not believe in ourselves. So the moment you want to venture into something, I want to start up this business, I want to start a software company, I want to start a TV station, I want to start trading in cryptocurrency. Lots of people will say, you cannot succeed, you cannot do it. And those are the challenges that will draw you back. It's high time. My word that I can give you is that if you believe in yourself and you've clearly thought about an idea, jump out of the comfort zone and prove to those people wrong that yes, you're made for it and you can do it. But obviously, there's the fear factor component where many people, that little inner voice will keep on telling you, Costa, what if you fail? Wadi, what if you fail? Florence, what if you fail? Brenda, what if you fail? Mark, what if you fail? How will people look at you? What if I leave my job that is paying me well today and I go to start a side hustle and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be making money? So as you're about to break through into starting your own business, into walking your own entrepreneurship path, a lot of negatives, a lot of questions, a lot of challenges will come your way. Yes, you will give up a personal to hold a car with your current job. Yes, you will give up a monthly salary, and there are times, I must tell you, that challenges in business, money will not be there, capital will not be there, customers will not be there. But that is the hallmark of an entrepreneurship. It's not an easy, journey. It is not a journey for the faint-hearted. You need to be ready to be resilient. You need to be ready to take the sacrifices, because that is what makes an entrepreneur. That is what makes the hallmark of a business person, is being able to weather the storm, is being able to ride the wave, of challenge. So yes, the PhD syndrome will be there. The fear factor aspect will be there. The negativity will be there. And that is the test that when you ask every successful entrepreneur or business person, they've had to overcome, they've had to conquer that battle. So today, transform that PhD of pull him down, and like one successful billionaire in dollars that I know said, PhD must be translated into poor, hunger-driven individual with the attitude and the spirit. Have, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, the spirit and an attitude of being poor to learn, but hungry to succeed, and obviously determined to win. If you have those attributes and the character, definitely you'll be able to conquer and override the wave. Yes, so like I said, I know it sounds easy and challenges will always be there, and it's this thing about our peers, our parents, and those who've lived before us telling us, no, this can't happen, or this just doesn't work. And obviously there are people who try to tell us that, society, it's better that you're a lawyer, and so on and so forth. But we've seen people who are not college graduates, they are not master's degree holders, and they have made it. And what distincts them from that person who is sitting in a corner office not enjoying their job is that attitude that I'm telling you, the resilience, the attitude to win. And so the battle is always in the mind. The battle is always with society, because everybody wants to pull you down in believing that you cannot be successful, in believing because they're successful. You need to always be unique and stand on the opposite side of the current, because everybody wants to ride on the wave going down because it's easier. You ride against the current, and that is the hallmark, and that is the tenacity of an entrepreneur. But once those challenges are overcome, I quickly want to touch on issues of success. How would you describe success? Some have described success in many different ways, making it to the top, achieving which that you had intended to do, and so on and so forth. From the many rule books and business bios that I've watched and so on, every person who calls themselves successful, legendary boxer Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay talks about, you can never enjoy the sweetness of success if you've never been beaten down in a knockout and grounded yourself to the canvas, and the feeling of getting up. You're knocked out in round 1, round 2, and finally in the 10th round or the 12th round of a 12 round bout, you're able to stand and punch punch back at challenges, punch back at capital, punch back at negativity, punch back at PhD. That is the measure of success. Your resilience to really fight battles, your resilience to fight challenges, and that is the measure of success. Somebody once said, success is failing 99 times and making it the 100th time. Meaning you can fail 9 out of 10 times and only be successful in 1. And that is the measure. In short, I'm talking about the value of you appreciating your challenges. Your challenges should never be a stopgap for you to reach your destiny. Your challenges are just but a mere pathway to your success. In other words, success can also be described as as a building block or a ladder of failures and challenges that take you to the top. Once you get the breakthrough and really get there, you're into the business, you've started up your business, you've registered everything at Pakra and so on. What is the next thing you do? I was told to talk about how do you stay in the business and how do you maintain being at the top of your businesses, being successful. I think the biggest aspect that I've already spoken about is that every business needs innovative and creative, injection. Businesses change, businesses evolve with time. You've heard about external influences of a business and internal influences of a business. Have always a powerful idea that evolves with innovation. What new thing are you adding to your product? What new products are you coming up with? What is it that you're doing differently from, the competition? We could be a TV station that delivers news every day, just like any other TV station is doing. But how do we go an extra mile to come to the needs of our viewers? What is it different that we are doing extra that our competitor, does not give? So it's not always about price incentive. It's not always about price discounts. All those are strategies in marketing of trying to look at what the competitor is not doing. But how do you take care of your customers? What is the extra mile that you go through? What products are your competitors giving that you are giving? What new thing can you innovate? The most comfortable businesses to stay around are very simple. The basic needs that are spoken about in the Maslow's hierarchy of theorem. Every human being needs, food. Every human being needs clothing. Every human being needs shelter. So if you're in the food business, you're in farming, that is the next big, opportunity. The world right now, for many of you that do not know, has a shortage of things like, avocado. They call that as, the green gold. A small Hass avocado today on the international market is going for about $2.60 at retail price. How many people are growing avocados? A simple process of only 3 years, worth the wait, and you'll be smiling home with millions of dollars. Cashew nuts, butter beans, so much that you can talk about in the food and agriculture industry. There are so many people ordering food, ordering clothes, shoes, and so on and so forth. But what makes the customer buy from Shoe Majesty and not you, the startup entrepreneur? So little incentives, innovations, but also put a team around you that believes in the vision, that also understands the product. It's not just about entertaining people who come to look for jobs and you're building a company. Make sure that when you have an idea, you find a team, but make sure that you as the vision carrier share and explain that idea, that you work together, you live the dream. And this is why most businesses across the world, or mostly in Africa, die alongside the vision carrier, because the team members did not live in that dream. The vision was not shared by the vision carrier. So what makes what makes a consistent and successful business is about staying innovative, being creative, being unique, doing serious competitor analysis and survey, doing a lot of business growth and product refining, and obviously finding a team that lives the dream and understands the vision and the direction of that business. Like I said, the breakthrough point has come. The key thing is always consistency. Consistency is the operative word in business. It's the operative word in entrepreneurship. You always need to stay true to the fight. You always need to be consistent. Do not drop the ball no matter how hard things become. But like I keep on saying, the product, again, is the only consistent or common factor that will always be a constant in your business. Remember that without a product, what is your customer going to buy? Without your customer, then you're not in business. The customer wants something from you. You have something of value to give to the customer. So always keep innovating, working on a product. Always think uniqueness of the product. Remember that business is not about the cash or the money that you have. Reinvest in the product. reinvest in the people, understanding the value of the product. That is one of the biggest alignments of a business. And finally, you need to understand that in business as well, everything is not simple. It's about taking risks. So as you go into research and development, in thinking new ideas, new strategies, new ways of delivering to your clients, new ways of going into the markets, expansion and so on, remember that some of these things will work and some will not work. So there are times when you make a loss in a business, small losses, big losses. Business is a risk-taking element. If you're not willing to take risks, then you're not cut out for business. And some of these risks and losses will be big at times to even drive you up to bankruptcy. Your ability, like I said, with Muhammad Ali's example, is how you can get up from that canvas. When you're beaten down, what is your ability to really get up and start, all over again? So risk-taking is part of the game. Remember that venturing into business, new product lines, new, ventures may not work. And so it's a 50-50 chance. But the only thing we get out of risk and failure is lesson. Remember that failing is never the problem. The problem is failing to get the lesson out of failure. What lessons have you learned that you do not do it again? And as a business person, we always learn from failure so that we do not fall into that trap and next time do it better. So finally, remember I was tasked to talk about entrepreneurship and leadership, and these are all wide topics, and I know that there are business gurus and motivational speakers who are more eloquent and more experienced than I am, who you can follow up, books that you can read to start your entrepreneurship journey. And I'm so honored that I could be chosen as one of the great speakers, or one of the speakers to inspire you great people as you start your journey. So now I want to speak to those who want to be leaders in this particular auditorium today. Let's start by identifying leadership, coming from the word lead. What is to lead? Really, what is to lead? We need to ask ourselves that question. You can write that down. Leadership, the word comes from the word lead. What is to lead? To lead is to inspire. To lead is to motivate. To lead is to be an example. To lead is to mentor, or mentor, as some people would say. So if you want to be a leader, again, like I started with entrepreneurship, we need to learn that leadership is not for everybody. You cannot go into any school or university and be taught leadership. I know right now there are masters courses being offered for leadership and entrepreneurship, but basically they teach you basic skills, operational system procedures, how to use accounting softwares and so on, and the aspects of bookkeeping. But the issues of attitude and having emotional intelligence about how to handle people, how to handle problems, how to handle situations, anybody can be taught about IQ, or you can be born with IQ. And this is where there is an argument. Is somebody born a leader, or are they trained into being a leader? And you hear of people, he's naturally born a leader. He or she is naturally born a leader. Leadership started at a tender age. I was a captain. Amongst my peers, I would always want to be the one to start. So again, the sad part of it is not everybody is appointed or chosen to be a leader, but it's something that needs to be character built. It's something that needs to be nurtured upon. It's something that needs to be worked upon, because the fundamental aspect of leadership is character. So when I spoke about what is to lead, to inspire, that is one of the biggest attributes of leadership characteristics, is to be able to inspire. There is no leader without followers or a follower, because then who are you leading? Every leader needs to be followed. And when you lead even animals, you see the leader of the pack. The bees, they always have a queen of the hive. Even in a pack of lions, you know that this is the leader of the pack as they go to hunt. So this is like a biological instinct of nature. Nature has it this way, that whether it's in the animal kingdom, it's in the human kingdom, it's insects, whatever species, there will always be somebody in the forefront to lead. In war, in battle, you have generals, you have commanders who are always taking lead, and they must inspire. So a leader must always have a follower. Now, in that follower, the follower must be able to see something in you as a leader that inspires them. I'm avoiding to use the word motivation, because motivation, people get leadership wrong with motivation. Because if a leader, I'm motivating people with incentives such as material and so on, the people are following me for the material and not the inspiration that I'm giving them. And when you look at the political space, leadership is at very different levels. At national level, at domestic household level, at church level, at corporate level. What is it that inspires you about these leaders, especially our politicians? Some politicians come to dish out, money within constituencies and so on. Ask yourself, are you voting for them because they inspire you, or you're voting for them because they bribed you with their money? So leadership must be able to provide inspiration. What is it that inspires you about who that person is, about what they do, about their values? Values are very important. What does somebody believe in? Are they Christian? Are they hardworking? Are they successful? So you need to look for these values. And away from inspiration, I move to the next point of example. Through that inspiration, a leader must lead by example. You've heard the common phrase. A leader must be an example. In life, so many young people have got role models. I want to be like him. I want to be like her when I grow up. What are you being? You're being an example of your hard work, an example of your work ethos, an example of your attitude, an example of everything that we do. Even in our homes, even in our societies, young children begin to behave in the way we mold them to be, in the way we are. So have a role model, have a mentor. So if you want to be a leader, you'll be aspiring to be like somebody who is a good example to you. So leadership is also about giving examples. Another important aspect of leadership that I see not happening within our society, and for this millennial generation, it's something that we need to have: mentorship. Many people differentiate or get it twisted. There is a difference between a role model and a mentor. Somebody would want to be on TV like a Costa Mwansa. He's my role model. I join journalism. I watch Costa Mwansa. But if I have no relationship with you, I don't mentor you, you're not close to me to understand my values. How does a day in Costa Mwansa's life, go like? How does Costa Mwansa handle challenges? How does Costa Mwansa run his business? How does Costa Mwansa prepare for his interviews? If you do not get close to me to be under my wings for me to mentor you, then I'm basically a role model of what you see from outside there in the mirror and from only what you see on TV. It is very important for leaders to have mentors and mentees. As a leader, you need to have people behind you, aside you, who you inspire and who you give examples, who you can both have an exchange of learning from them and you teaching them something. But as a leader as well, you need to learn from a wealth of knowledge that is across there in the world. Find a mentor, usually somebody who is in the same business field as you or in the same industry as you are. It is very important. Some of these mentors, it would be good if you can find a local mentor who can sit with you once in a while, sit while you're doing a meeting or write a paper for them. They need to watch you work. They need to evaluate your progression in your leadership styles. But also I encourage you to read a lot, watch a lot, and listen a lot to motivational and leadership pieces. It's very important, the aspect of mentorship. Leadership without mentorship is like fire without a flame. Finally, I would like to find the aspect of leadership and success in life. All these things, leadership and success, are empty without finding your purpose in leadership. I am a firm believer that really leadership and success comes from the Almighty God. And when God anoints you with leadership, when God anoints you with the privilege to lead other people, He expects you to understand the real purpose of why you have been put into that position. How are you going to be emotionally adaptable to the needs of your followers? How are you going to realize that when God has blessed you with this power, because we know the true hallmark of a person in terms of what they do when they are put into a powerful position? How do they abuse this power? If they're put into a position of power through money, what is it that they invest this money into? And so finding the purpose in life of why you are in that powerful and leadership position is the ultimate goal, where many leaders miss it. And how do you know this. I know that now it's become fashionable that when one makes money, when one is in a leadership, influencer position, it's become, fashionable for people to go out there and donate to orphanages, do philanthropic work, and so on and so forth for the cameras. If you see leaders who are doing that for the cameras, then they're doing that as a publicity or PR stunt. Real leaders have a purposeful life of giving, of rewarding, and living a life of purpose as part as their ordinary day-to-day DNA, even without a camera being, in front of them. So how do we measure the hallmark of a purposeful leader? It's how your influence, your position, your power, your money impacts and benefits the life of others and those around you in society. That is why God gave you that position. That is why God put you in that position, is to influence positively and impact the life of others. So if you haven't discovered your purpose, begin to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate. It is one thing indeed to inspire. It is one thing to be an example. It is one thing to be mentored and to have mentees. But at the end of the day, it is always important to discover the purpose of why you're there as a leader. So finally, colleagues, after all this is said and done, I must commend you that you've taken the first step into your journey of leadership and entrepreneurship. Because in molding great leaders, young leaders, if you want to take the journey of leadership, you want to take the journey of entrepreneurship, a number of attributes that I want to leave you with. Number one, like I said, personal growth and self-belief. Have confidence and belief in yourself, because it starts from there. You need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in your growth. You need to invest in your brand. And how do you do that? The first step is coming to workshops and seminars like this. And I hope it just doesn't stop on this one for you to come back next year on the 12th of February. Go to seminars, enroll yourself. Invest in them. Even if somebody paid for you on today's seminar, make sure that for the next one that you attend, you pay for yourself. Investment into personal growth is indeed the key. The other thing in investing in oneself is reading. I have a whole wide, range of books that help me, shape myself and just push myself. There's so much to watch, even on Netflix, documentaries. The Motivational Hub is one website I can ask you to go to on YouTube. Great stuff, people like T.D. Jakes, Simon Sinek, Robert Kiyosaki, all these guys, Steve Harvey, and so on and so forth. Listen to what these guys have to say. Vusi Tembe Kwayo, Dumisani Nuwe, back home here in Zambia. These are guys that are going to speak to you and indeed just revive, the fire into you. So the first step is for you to come in, to this seminar. So read, watch, listen, and indeed take time to invest into your personal growth, your personal brand. Know you better than nobody knows yourself. Remember, you're a warrior. Remember, you're a conqueror. Nobody should tell you that you cannot do it. You are bound for success. You are poised for greatness. You are meant to win. Remember, I said the PhD that must be in your mind right now is the aspect of being poor in learning, being desirous to always learn. So be poor, be hungry, and be determined to reach the heights of success. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you, and I hope that this is just a starting point of greater things for you in your life to come.